Hello, this is Ryan Nakata, and today I'm going to be presenting examining microfinance. But before we get into that, we want to examine the economic growth of a country, what factors relate to that, and how that can ultimately better sustain the country. And the first economic growth factor we wanted to look at is natural resources. Natural resources are resources that exist that are not created by humans. These are non-artificial goods such as fossil fuels, vegetation, and water. And my inclusion of Japan on the right is to highlight how Japan is actually a country with very limited natural resources. It is not prominent for oil or copper or rubber, for instance. It is a country that imports a lot of raw materials, and because of that, it's not focused on exporting raw materials. It's focused on importing that and using those raw materials in its economic society to better utilize industrialization. The next factor we're going to look at is infrastructure, which is the framework for the basic physical systems of a country. These are your highways, your water and electrical systems, your public health systems. All these work to better create an efficient system on which economy can be used through. Say, for instance, you want to have a train transport apples from one part of the city to another. It's much more efficient for those apples to be transported on a streamlined and well-built train system rather than someone walking 30 miles to deliver the apples. It's a more efficient system and allows for greater profit to be made as a result of that infrastructure being built. The next factor we're going to look at is population, in which a larger growing population means there is an increase in the availability of workers or employees, which in turn results in a higher workforce as people search for more jobs. If you look on the right, we have the 20 largest state economies of the US GDP, and California exceeds by about 1.4 million above Texas. This is because California has a large population itself, and as a result has the largest GDP as more people are searching for jobs and making money off those jobs. The last factor we're going to look at is technology, which can lead to increased productivity with the same or lower levels of labor. And this is important because a machine can work without the limit of fatigue when compared to a human. Now we're going to look at microfinance, and the big question with microfinance is, what is microfinance in the first place? Well, microfinance is basically the focus on providing financial aid to unemployed or low-income individuals or businesses who do not have the same access to financial services as we do. And the next question behind microfinance is, how are these loans different? Well, typically compared to bank loans, microloans are executed through peer-to-peer relations rather than large bank organizations. They're smaller than bank loans, requiring less interest and focusing on jump-starting small local businesses. If we refer back to the video that was linked in the project's description, the inclusion of the women who utilized microfinance to buy cows so that they can use their milk to sell is an illustration of this, because a microloan is a simple, small loan that assists the business. Now we turn to Kivo, which is an organization that utilizes the microfinance method by distributing microloans to people throughout the world that require those loans to build their business. Upon research, I found Abed Al-Aziz, who is currently residing in Badaya village in West Bank, Palestine, who's asking for a loan to help better finance his home living situation. His loan consists of $3,500 so that he can buy a solar system for his house that will enhance his family's living conditions and will work to reduce the use of electricity and get hot water to his family. The reason I focused on Abed Al-Aziz is his drive and passion to create a home living condition which focuses on renewable energy. In his personal statement, he describes himself as an enthusiastic and active person, full of hope and energy, and a hard worker, and is serving his family by facing life's challenges. In addition, he illustrates that he wanted his loan to be paid back in monthly distributions, as well as ultimately having everything finalized and paid back by the end of September 2020. And that, in my case, highlights his credibility because he is working to help better his family, but also working to pay back those who have given him money so that he can pursue that option. Now, the loan's profit is it will create his household into a sustainable energy source, which will lessen his financial costs most notably in electricity, and in turn create a domino effect that will assist them financially. And what I mean by that is that if his energy bill drops, that will allow them to spend or save money for the future for his 2 children that he states that he wants to have a good future. Additionally, it can affect his community by promoting renewable energy. If those around him see that he is utilizing this energy source and it is working to help lower his costs of bills, I think that will in turn also affect his community, because then people might work to also invest in renewable energy sources such as solar panels for their household. And so with that, I conclude my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and it was actually very interesting to research in Kiva and find Abed Al-Aziz, who is working to help better his family.